this device receives no mic.
So, good evening, friends. So may I have some introduction? Actually,
My name is Vignesh.
Vignesh, what is your education background? BSc Computer Science. And UPSC, have you attempted earlier any attempt? First attempt, 2025. Okay. And you know there is an optional subject in UPSC. You know that, right? So what optional you are planning? Tamil literature. Okay. You?
Myself, Fast Thomas.
Sorry?
Fazil Ahmed.
Fazil Ahmed. BCom General. Okay.
This is my first attempt.
2025. Okay.
I selected the option is social.
Sociology you are planning. Hi. How are you? Okay. So how is the preparation going? Going on. Okay. It's audible.
சாந்தி கேக்குதா?
கேக்குதுடா.
Okay,
so my name is Vipin. I am an IRPS officer. 2014 batch I have cleared my exam. 2014 exam actually. I have cleared civil services. I have attempted 3 times. 14, 15 and 2013. All 3 times I have reached up to interview. Okay, right now I'm posted in Southern Rail. Here Chennai only. That's why I'm coming here for taking some classes. Like history I'll take care of. He has been my student already. So today's class we'll talk about civil services, how this exam is, what are the components of this exam, how the questions are being asked. From history, what kind of questions or how much part of UPSC exam history will cover, right? How important history is, and then how to approach history, how to read history, how to study history, right? So that will be the agenda of this class, right? So I'll start with the civil services exam structure. You already know. We will go slightly deeper into that structure. Then we will come on to the subjects, right? So already you know. Yeah. So already you know that there are 3 stages in civil services exam. First stage is claims exam, right? That you know. Second stage is claims exam, and then we call it as personality. In prelims exam, 2 papers are there. Yes. CSAT is qualified, right? How much you have to score? 67 or above. Whether it's for 200 or 67, it does not matter, right? Just you have to qualify. And then finally, cutoff will be prepared from GS. GS paper is 200 marks. Generally, nowadays, recently, roughly in the range of 90 or 88. That is the cutoff going on recent years. Okay. Mains exam, how many papers are there? 9 papers are there. 2 qualifying papers are, one will be English. How much you have to score? English, how much? 30%. any language of the regional language means there are 22 languages mentioned in the Constitution of India. Okay, in Constitution of India, one chapter we call it as 8th schedule. Okay, it's not chapter actually. One portion of the Constitution is called as 8th schedule. There are schedules in the Constitution. Okay, so in 8th schedule, 22 languages are mentioned, which are Indian languages like Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Gujarati, Bengali, like that. 22 languages are there. Any of the language you can take and you can write in it. Okay. Generally from Tamil Nadu area, people write in Tamil. From north side, people write in Hindi. Okay. So I assume we will be taking Tamil. So this is also qualifying, right? Then other papers,
Yes.
remaining 7 papers.
Yes. Yes. That was amazing.
Very good. So first is essay, then GS1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exams, then optional 1, 2, that's all, right? So total 7 papers. And how much score? 250 each, it will be. Okay. Then your interview or personality test, which is 75 points. Right? Now, for different levels or different stages, different strategies needed. Same strategy will not work for different stages, right? So we need to be aware of what strategy we are going to follow for prelims exam, for mains exam, as well as for interview. Interview anyway, subconsciously it will be prepared if you are doing these two stages sincerely, right? Subconsciously your interview will be prepared. You need not put extra effort for that, right? Some preparation is needed that at the end we can do. Okay, so these two stages should be prepared sincerely. Now, for this stage, prelims stage, what is the requirement of studying? Any topic which you are picking up, the finer points you should be able to recall in the exam. Recall in the exam, so when you see the information, that should strike your mind. Whether you remember it or not. For example, I asked you something. You may not remember it. That's okay. But when you see some options, you should be able to filter out. Right? That is the requirement of the exam. In mains exam, you have to recall and you have to write. It means you have to remember the point. So that is the difference as far as your mind requirement is concerned. Now, as far as studies are concerned, for prelims, we need to read so many things. But to that extent that we can recall in the exam when we see the options, right? So for that we have to cover so many things, but not too deeper. But wherever concept is there, that concept we should be very clear of, right? You will be reading so many subjects. So every subject you will not do research. You will read. There will be certain requirement of the depth. To that depth you will read and then revise. So whenever you will see the options, you will be able to recall. Right? Are you understanding?
Yes.
So, and then mains, already syllabus is clearly defined in your UPSC notification. Every paper, GS 1, 2, 3, 4, clearly syllabus is defined. So one topic you will pick up from the syllabus, all dimensions you will cover. You will make small notes, point-wise notes that will help you in revision. For example, women empowerment is one topic somewhere in GS 1, 2, 3, wherever, GS 3 for that matter. Okay. Now, women empowerment, all the dimensions you will write like some kind of notes, small notes you will write in your notebook. Like, what do we understand by empowerment, first of all, right? And then women empowerment, what are the different dimensions, like political empowerment, whether women are allowed to vote freely, women are allowed to contest elections freely, or somebody else, like they're just contesting election, but somebody else is using their power, like in panchayat election we see, right? Then education, whether women have access to education or not, right? And then to what extent, what is the dropout rate, etc. Similarly, health, whether they're having access to health or not. So these are the social dimensions. Similarly, economic or financial, whether women are self-dependent, they're standing on their feet, they have access to job or money or whatever. Can they incur their financial expenditure independently? Do you understand? So this is the financial dimension. Complete, multi-dimensional, any topic, women empowerment, so many topics will be there. So we will make small point-wise notes. Okay, with current affairs, some data will be there. For example, health, if we will talk about, okay, health में malnutrition will be there, है ना? Then health में there will be like anemia, certain diseases are there which are frequently occurring. Nutrition is not given properly, or sex ratio, male versus female, number of males versus number of female, how much that it is, right? So all those factors you'll completely write at one place and your notes are ready. So likewise, whatever topics are mentioned in your syllabus, those topics we have to cover completely. Then we are ready for writing mains, right? So in our classes, our job will be to cover those topics holistically. Your job will be to make notes. Okay. So GS 123 optional is important. Now let me give you a slight glimpse. 1750 is the mains marks. For your final cutoff, when you will get services, IAS, IPS, etc. These marks are not counted. Prelims marks are not counted. Just you have clear the cutoff, you have reached mains. That's all. Prelims is ignored. Now these marks will be counted. Plus 275 marks. So total how much it will be? 1750 plus 275. It will be 2025. So your final merit when the results come is prepared from 2025. The topper who gets IAS or top 100, 150 ranks, 120 ranks, who get IAS, their score from 2025 is in the range of 1100, is the maximum marks generally, up to maybe 950. Even above that. So these are the almost toppers marks, top 200 ranks. Okay, out of 2000, so not even 50%. Okay, not even 50%. Now, assume we have to score 1000 marks. Right? Optional 1 and 2, 500 marks is optional. Right? So if you pick up strong optional and you are very strong in your optional, generally it has been seen, if you are very strong in your optional, people have scored up to 300, 310 in optional. And you can score in your optional also, Tamil literature or whatever, sociology. Right? So you see, 1000 marks you require to come in top 200 ranks. And out of the 300 marks, 30% is given by just your optional. So choose your optional wisely and work on your optional very hard. Right? This is one aspect. Similarly, essay, 250 marks are there. Essay is expression of your ideas. Whatever you will study, so women empowerment if you are talking about, they will give you some topic. That topic in all dimensions, you have to think about and you have to express your opinion about that. Women empowerment and globalization is the topic. Then you'll talk about what is empowerment and what is women empowerment, what is globalization, what is the link between them, whether women are empowered all over globe or not. Right? So you'll start with some introduction. Then you'll talk about empowerment. Then you'll talk about women empowerment. What was the historical background, what is the current scenario, okay, at local level, uh, regional level and national level, or maybe international level, all dimensions. Okay, this is the status. Acha, what are the challenges, why we are not able to empower our women? Okay, what are the challenges, what are the opportunities, how we can go ahead? Okay, so all those dimensions we have to cover. Your thought process should be put up properly in a coherent manner. Coherent means some flow should be there. Randomly, like you have started something, political empowerment of women, and then suddenly you're talking about international, and then suddenly you're talking about challenge, and then again international, then again this challenge, random. No, proper flow of ideas should be there, like a speech, right? So that's what we have to practice in essay. Now, essay is 250 marks. People, if they prepare properly, can score up to 140. So 300 plus 140, 440 roughly, right? And then your personality test, 275. If you are decent enough, you have prepared well. Normally, if you sit there and normal reply of the panel you will give, you will get 160 plus. Okay, if you are good enough, you can get 200 plus, right? 440 plus 200, 640. So that much. Only 350 you have to score in GS, right? So these three areas are very, very important when you will prepare for civil services exam. Your essay, your optional, most important, your personality test. Personality test anyway it will be prepared when you will prepare GS and all, right? So strategically you have to work. Then when you will prepare for GS, you have to identify what are your strong areas, what are your weak areas, right? So this is a rough strategy that anyway we will, during the course of our study, we will work upon that, right? Then let us talk about prelims now. Let me have some water. So prelims exam, there are roughly 10 subjects, 10 or 9 or maybe 11 also sometimes, subjects which we are going to study. Okay, ultimately the questions will be asked from those subjects. Let us write down about those subjects. Polity. These are all Indian polity, right? Indian polity, Indian economy, Indian geography, economy. That's what we are going to study. Then environment, geography. History I'm dividing into parts. Modern India. Okay. A modern Indian history. Okay. Then art and culture. Science and tech. Science and technology, right? And then society anyway will be covered in current affairs. By that logic, then agriculture nowadays questions are coming from agriculture also. Right? So agriculture society can write it as, but we assume it is coming from current affairs. Right? So roughly these are the subjects from which questions are asked in your prelims exam. How many questions? 100 questions. Okay, 100 questions, 2 marks each, so 200 marks. Right? Now 200 marks, if you attempt wrong, then negative marking is there. How many marks? 0.6. 2 marks, or 0.66 marks. That will be negative mark. Right? Now, so these 10 subjects you have to prepare. Now, everybody is different. Me, you. We are all different human beings, different capabilities. So in UPSC exam, we have to manage ourselves. We cannot copy anybody else. Right? Your preparation strategy will be different. His preparation strategy will be different. Your strengths are different. Your weaknesses are different. Your strengths are different. Your weaknesses are different. Right? So some common strategy will be there, but variations will be as per our personality, as per our thought process, as per our capabilities. Right? For example, I may be good in geography, but you may not be, or you may not be. You may be very good in polity. I may not be. Right? We should find out where we are more comfortable, or which are the strong areas and which are the weak areas. First, we should be clear about that. Some sense we should have, okay, this area I'm finding a bit uncomfortable, and this area I'm more comfortable. Right? This is one aspect. Then second aspect, what you have to do, see the previous year question papers. What type of questions they are asking. Okay. When you will see the previous year question papers from these subjects, you'll get the sense how they are asking, what depth they are asking, what level they are asking, what type of questions are there. Okay. So developing that sense is important. Unless you are not aware what will be asked in the exam or what kind of exam it is, your mind will not be focused to absorb the material from the content. Do you understand? If you are aware, you know, okay, this happens, I'll tell you. For example, first attempt people, what they do, they will read NCERT, this, that, Lakshmikant, everything we will read. Some practice also we have done. Mock test. We'll sit in the exam. What will happen? So many things, we will be like 50-50 situation is there. This I remember, but I do not remember. Right? This I have studied, I have not studied. So that will not happen. The next attempt also similarly they will give. In third attempt, when prelims is third attempt when they are preparing, then this thing will happen. When they will study the topic, then they will recall, oh, in the exam, question was asked in such a way. Right? That consciousness comes in third attempt. It is better to start with the first attempt. Right? So first thing is you should, whenever you are studying any topic, polity, fundamental rights, see previous year question papers from fundamental rights, what type of questions they are asking, to what depth they are asking. Right? So with that, what will happen? Your mind will be conscious. I'm reading this topic, from this topic, they are asking this way. So when you will read and such thing will come in front of your eyes, you will absorb that. Or plain you will read, you will understand, but absorption will not happen. So that recalling will not happen. Recalling in the exam. You understand everything, but you will not be able to recall. But when you see, you are aware of the questions, it absorbs better. Whatever you're reading. You're understanding what I'm saying. So be aware of the questions, then read, and then it will be even better after reading you attempt those questions. So it will be somewhere etched in your mind. So better recalling will happen. Right? This is the strategy for prelims exam. Now let us analyze how much we have to study and how we have to manipulate the subjects. Cutoff, as you are saying, it is 90 marks. I assume it is 100 marks for safer side. Okay. Easier paper will be there, it will be 100 marks. Okay. Now 100 marks means 50 net correct questions should be there. Right? So you have to get 50 questions correct. Right? Now, for having 50 questions correct, can you attempt just 50 in your prelims exam? Whatever, even if you are good, there are very much chances that you will make some mistake and some wrong answers will be there, right? Whatever preparation you do. So you need to attempt more than 50 questions. You have to clear it, right? So you have to go beyond 50. So you may be confident about your preparation, your accuracy may be more, but to get 100 cutoff, you have to attempt more than 50, right? So you have to see what is the optimum number of questions to be attempted. In my case, I used to attempt in the range of 70 to 75 because that time cutoff used to be 101, 102. I used to score 110, 108, or maybe 112, something like that. Okay, during my time. Now cutoff has gone down. Okay, so accordingly, that adjustment you have to do in the paper on whether I have to attempt 70 or 65 or 75 based upon the easy or hardness of the paper, right? So ultimately, in the range of 60 to 70 questions, we need to attempt, or maybe sometimes even 100 questions somebody will attempt. 99% chances are they will not clear prelims exam, right? So many minors will be there. Okay. Now for attempting 70 questions, we need to see the previous year pattern. From polity, how many questions are coming and what type of questions are coming. From geography, how many questions are coming, what type of questions are coming. History, modern India, current affairs, etc. Now comes the role of your strong area and weak area. For example, you are very strong in polity. Very strong in polity. Every year, on an average, 9 to 10 or 10 to 12 questions are coming from polity. Then you will tell yourself, polity is my strong area. If 10 questions are coming, I'll prepare to that extent, at least 7 to 8 should be correct. I will attempt 8 questions. Obviously, sometimes we can attempt all questions also if paper is easier. But in that range, 80%, I am attempting and 80% should be correct. 10 I am attempting, 8 should be correct. Right? So that you will know which area is strong, which area is weak. Okay. So likewise, then economy, then environment, geography, history, you have to identify which area is strong. Now, even in this also, if you analyze the subjects, for example, economy or geography, there are 2-3 types of questions being asked. One will be concept-based question. For example, atmosphere. No, static is static you can say, but concept-based. Concept-based means how rain happens, precipitation, cloud, okay, all those things. That concept, if it is clear, it will always be clear. You will not forget, right? You know the reason evaporation happens and cloud and this thing. Some concept will be there in geography. How day and night are formed. Okay, how seasons are formed. If that concept is clear, you will be confident. So you have analyzed, for that matter, you have analyzed there are 10 questions on an average asked from geography. Out of those 10 questions, 4 are concept based. Okay, I will prepare my concepts so well that these 400% I will make correct. Right? Then there will be some fact based questions, 5, some river or something. In that 50-50 chances are there, or how much I can read. Similarly, then 2 questions will be very difficult. Those I have to leave. Or so likewise, we have to each and every subject with full focus. What is the easy part of that subject? What is the mediocre part of that subject? What is the hard part of that subject? And what are the hard type of questions? What are the mediocre type of questions? What are the easier type of questions? Generally, concept based. Economy also. Concept based. Cash reserve ratio. If you are clear what is cash reserve ratio, you will be able to attempt that. Right? So that concept anyway it will be taught in your classes. Right? So identify that these are the questions I am confident whatever they will ask I will answer. There are certain questions where I need to do hard work. There are certain areas where even if I do hard work, we cannot get anything. So UPSC preparation is not about blind studying. Simply you're studying for 12 hours, 15 hours, it will not be as fruitful. It has to be strategic. Hard work is required, no doubt in that. So many subjects are there, and if you have that much focus, you have to cover a lot of area. It requires time, patience, hard work for that only. So if you do that hard work, I can guarantee you will clear the exam. Right? So likewise, we have to analyze and we have to plan. Now, as far as history is concerned, history generally will cover these three portions. Okay. Ancient, medieval, modern India, art and culture. Now, on an average, from these three areas, it has gone up to 20 questions also in few years. Recently, 12 to 15 questions are coming from these three areas: ancient, medieval, modern India, art and culture. Art and culture means they will cover historical aspect. For example, this Tanjavur temple, right? Who built? Raja Raj Chol, Rajendra Chol, or whatever, right? Gangai Konda Cholapuram. What was that? He has defeated Ganga King or something, right? So this is what this is art and cultural aspect. The temple. What is the structure of the temple? What is the design of the temple? Architecture of the temple, right? And in this, there is something called as a Pradakshina Path, or there is something called as Mandapam. There is something called as Vimana, Gopuram, etc. So all these aspects are cultural aspects plus historical aspect. Okay. So likewise, 12 to 15 question on an average we are getting. Modern India, this year they have reduced only 3-4 questions they have asked. But previously they used to ask 7 to 8 questions from modern India. Okay. And if you will cover it is easy. But one thing is that if you will attempt 8 questions of modern India, everybody else will also attempt 8 questions of modern India. But anyway, we are bothered about our cutoff. We are not bothered about others. Right? We have to score that much, that's all. Our focus should also be like that on. We should not see who is doing what. We should see what we are doing. Right? Our goal is clear. I have to get that much score. My prelims will be over. I have to get that much score. My mains will be over and interview. Others, let them run. No problem. Okay. Now, so this is about history. Now, history may, as I have already mentioned, there will be 4 parts. Something called as ancient India. Medieval. Right? World history will be part of your mains exam. Will not come in your mains. Okay. Mains exam, GS paper 1. It is part of that. Anyway, this history will also be there, but world history does not come in your prelims exams. Okay. So only this will come in your prelims. So we will start with modern India only. Normally I start with world history, which is going to come in your, or should we start with world history? Because this is the time we will cover world history, and as we will approach prelims, it will be better to do it later. If we will do the prelims topic here, then revision will be whatever. Let me decide. No problem. Right? Anything. World history includes some portion of world history will include your international relations. So anyway, it will be helpful in our current affairs also. Current affairs also. It will require how many? 2 hours classes, 10 classes. World history will be over. Okay. 20 hours will be sufficient. Then remaining modern, medieval, ancient, and art and culture will be. Okay. So, right. Now, anyway, we are going to start our regular class from next class onwards. I think some more students are going to join. Today, I'll just give you brief of the topics also which we are going to cover. Some brief. Okay. So, first of all, there is something called as timeline, right? What is timeline? The historians, they have recreated or written history based upon different evidences. I am an historian. I was not available during Akbar's time. I was not available during Ashoka's time. Okay, so there are certain evidences, archaeological evidences. Some books are there. Based upon that, I have recreated history. Okay, and I have put up the events in chronological order, old time to new time. Okay, old time to new time. I have arranged the events. First, Hadappans were there. Then Aryans came. Then Ashoka was there. Then Gupta were there. Then medieval time period. Then Britishers came. So all these things I have arranged in the timeline, time order, right? So what is the timeline? So now there should be some reference also. Reference in the sense, if I say my height, I'm saying my height is 5 feet. So there is some reference with which I'm measuring this is 5 feet, right? Okay. So for this timeline also, we have some reference. The reference time is birth of Jesus. Okay. From that, for example, before Christ and that anyway I'll tell. For example, what is your age? 21. Yours? 23. Okay, 21. Let us take example 21. So if I make your 21st birthday as a reference, I will tell 10 years after your 21st birthday, you have done this. Okay, or maybe 5 years after your 21st birthday, you got married. Okay, so I have given that reference. 5 years this side. 5 years before your 21st birthday, you were studying this subject, commerce, right? This side. So likewise, we have given reference of the birth of Jesus Christ as a reference. Okay, reference point, birth of Jesus Christ. So the time before his birth, okay, that is called as before Christ. Okay, for example, we have taken 21 years or 21st birth anniversary, right? So I told you 5 years before your 21st birth anniversary, you were doing commerce. Okay. 10 years before that, what you were doing? 10 years before, 11 years, your age will be 11 years. School. 15 years before that, your child, right? So we are reducing. So if I say 100 years before the birth of the Christ, and then I say 200 years before birth of the Christ. So which one is the older time? 200 years, right? So on this side, 100 BC, 200 BC, 300 BC. As we move this side, the number is increasing, but time is older time, right? So if I say 1000 BC, it means 1000 years before the birth of Christ. So it is older time. 2000 BC is even older, right? After birth, after now, 5 years after your 21st birth anniversary, you are 26, you got married. 10 years, you got a child. So as the number is increasing, it is coming latest time. 100 years after the birth of Christ, 200 years after the birth of Christ, 500 years after the birth of Christ, and then 2024 years after the birth of Christ. Yes. Okay. We denote it by AD. AD is I think Latin word Anno Domini, means after Christ. Okay, the meaning of this word is after Christ. So as the number will increase here, we are coming into latest times. Okay, this is the oldest. This is called as timeline, right? So first, when we talk about Ashoka, Mauryans, etc., they will be older time, like Hadappans, 3500 BC, 3500 years before Christ. Then come reduce 0, then 100 AD, 200 AD, 300 AD, 500 AD, 2024 AD, right? Okay. So this is the time, right? Now, as we have divided history in 4 parts, old is as far as India is concerned, we have divided it in 3 parts. World history is slightly different. Okay, so that is slightly different. That we will leave as of now. We'll leave it because it is going to come in mains exam. We'll see what it is. Now, how we have divided? From roughly 2 million years. What is 1 million? 10 lakhs. 2 million means 20 lakhs. Okay. 2 million years ago or 2 million years before Christ up to 600 years before Christ. So many years. 2 million, 20 lakh years. 20 lakh, 10 lakh, 5 lakh, 1 lakh, 10,000, 7,000, 3,500. Okay, 1000 BC, then 800 BC, 700 BC, 600 BC. Not even BC. Leave it. We come on to 0, birth of Christ. After that, we will come into the time after Christ. 100 AD, 200 AD, 300 AD, 400 AD, 600 AD. So up to 600 AD. Ancient. Okay. In that also we will see this 2 million years ago, we give it a particular name. Okay. We give it a particular name. Actually, you cannot call it as history because very less evidences you have. You cannot tell definitely about this time, 20 lakh years ago. Okay. Anyway, but still we categorize it as ancient history. 2 million years ago to 600 AD. Right? So in this 10, 20 years, 30, 40 years does not matter. Even if you write 650 AD, that is also okay. 600 AD, that is also okay, no problem. Right? Then medieval time period is 600 or 650 AD to roughly 1700 or 1750 AD. Okay. 600 AD, 700, 1700. 1700. Just 300 years before this time. Okay. Modern India generally we call from 1750 AD up to 1947 or even today also you can call it as modern India. Right? Okay. Similarly, world history, if you go there, the world history is also divided like that. Ancient, medieval, modern. So we'll start somewhere in between medieval, late medieval world history. Okay, or modern world history only. We will. So at the end of the medieval period, right? So this is the time period. Now in this, there are different topics. That those topics I do not want to cover today because it will be better more students are there so that we can start with that. Okay. So right. On an average, except 2024, 7 to 8 or 9 questions generally come from modern. Modern India mostly covers your India's freedom struggle. India's freedom struggle, we start studying this from this time period onwards. If you see, the Britishers came around 1600 AD in India. 1600 AD. Okay. 1600 after 1600 years after the Christ. And there were Europeans. Different Europeans, they were doing trade with India. And there was nothing called as India at that time. Right? Anyway. So let me write the topic names. So our study will start from 2 million years ago. That time period is called as Stone Age. Two million years ago to roughly 7,000 BC. Okay. That time human being, we were in the form of a man living in jungle. How no machines were there. So with the stone available in the jungle, we were somehow surviving, killing animals, eating food, etc. That is why we call it as Stone Age. Okay. So main instrument with the human being was stone. So based upon this time period is divided in 3 phases. One is called as Paleolithic age, Meso age, these are the 3 time periods. The Stone Age we have divided. Okay. Then so many lakhs of years or thousands of years, and we are learning many things. For example, nowadays mobile phone we are using, right? Before mobile phone, what was the technology for communication? Landline phones. Then pagers came. You know pagers? Pagers we used to send a message. Only message we could send. Okay. And then normal Nokia 1100, that kind of mobile phone. Not such smartphones. And now these smartphones are there. Okay. Now tell me one thing. Whether Nokia 1100 is stopped completely, still some people are using. Huh? We are using smartphone, okay, but some poor people, maybe rickshaw puller or somebody who cannot afford a smartphone, they are using that basic phone, right? So it is still existing. So same way, human being keep on evolving, new and new technology, because this mind is innovative. So new and new technology we will use. So what we did during this time period, we saw rocks are there. From those rocks, we broke the stone, we made a weapon. Slowly it developed into X, like stone X. Okay, and some other weapons, some other tools. So then, with the application of mind further, fire also was invented. So rubbing and some heat generated fire. Oh wow, what is this? So then fire happened. So likewise, evolution of human being and technology was going on. So over the years, along with this, human being analyzed there is something called as metal, which is harder than the stone. Okay, and it can be melted with the temperature. So along with the stone, human beings started using copper. Okay. So first metal which was used by a human being was copper. Okay. So the time period in which human being used copper along with the stones, like smartphones are coming as well as old phones are coming. It is not like stone age stopped and then copper started. No, it is not like overlapping. Okay. So copper was the first metal. So the time period of the age in which copper was used is called a Chalcolithic age. Chalco means copper, lithic means stone. Paleolithic, Mesolithic. Lithic means stone. Paleo means old. Meso means intermediate. Neo means new. So stone type also changing. Right? Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
For example, this dosa batter making machine you imagine. 20 years before, what kind of stone was being used? What kind of stone? Different stone we are using. You know? Evolution happened in the stone. Same way, Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic. Stone also got changed, the human being. And then copper comes into. Okay. After this, iron will also come into power, like come into use. Iron will be used. Okay. Iron age. Right? Now these tools, they were used at different times at different places. Now you tell me, Chennai is a metropolitan area. Here you have access to smartphone. But you go to a forest area, very old forest area or village area, where people are living very primitive life. Andaman Nicobar, Jharkhand, they will not have such smartphones with them. Maximum they will have that Nokia China phone, right? Button phone. But time period is same. But when they will be developed after 20 years, 40 years, 50 years, then they will use smartphone. By that time, we will reach on some other technology. Okay. So likewise in India also, this is India's map, roughly. When people of this region are using copper and stone, people of this region are still using the old stone. Okay. Or maybe this region. Or maybe so the same technology did not reach everywhere at the same time. It took some years to reach at different places. So pattern will be new technology will be used here, then it will move here and here. So generally iron age, for example, iron age, use of iron. Use of iron will happen here first, here later, here second. Maybe 2000 BC here, 1000 BC here, 800 BC here. Do you understand? Just I'm making you oriented in that direction. So history is like that. Generally, what perception we have? Stone age, cut. Metal age, cut. It is not like that. It is overlapping time period, development of human being, right? So, first is Stone Age. After that, what we will study? Harappan civilization. This is another topic. Indus Valley civilization. So this is roughly 3500 BC, right? 3500 BC. Okay. Then next will be Aryan Age. Aryans, Rig Veda, etc. Vedic age. We call it as Vedic age also. Rig Veda, Samveda, Tharveda, Yajurveda, all those kind of things were mentioned during this period. Then we will study 600 BC onwards. This is called as Iron Age. Iron was started being used from here. This is roughly 600 BC. Iron Age or Age of Mahajanpadas. Right? Mahajanpadas we will see. Earlier human being was roaming around. They were living in the group. After some time they started settling at one place. When they started settling at one place, then this concept of Mai Rajya, state, king, all those concepts started. Those were called as Janpadas. One Janpada will fight with another Janpada and they will capture territory. It will become bigger. That will become Mahajanpada. You understand? Chola kingdom and all. Earlier we were all roaming around in the groups. Then we started settling. That land boundary started coming into picture. Then state comes into picture. King, state, Janpada. This is called as Janpada. And then when they will fight with each other and capture others' territory, it will become bigger. That will become Mahajanpada. Right? During this period, Mahatma Buddha and Mahavir Jain also existed. We will see what were there because prelims may generally one question comes from Buddhism and Jainism, right? Then after Aryan age, we call it as Mauryan age. Ashoka, Chandragupta Maurya, etc. So that will be from 350 BC to roughly 180 BC, right? And then next age will be, there will be so many foreigners in the sense Greeks or Central Asian, so many tribes who will attack India. India means Indian territory. There was no India at that time. Indian states in Indian subcontinent. So they will attack this region. They will settle here. They will rule here. So this age is called as age of foreigners.
At the time,
Greeks, like Alexander, etc. Okay, Greeks came, Kushanas came. These are all foreigners. Foreigners means not the resident of this area. This area was not India at that time. This area was called as Indian subcontinent, which includes India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, etc. So this is Indian subcontinent, and people used to come from here because there is a gap in the mountains. Okay, so they will come here, fight with the king. They will settle here. They will settle here. They will settle here. So these were the age of foreigners. So this is from 100 BC to 200 AD. So this will cross the Christ, that side as well as this side. Okay. Then next age will be Gupta age. Gupta. Chandragupta, Vikramaditya, Vikram Betal, you have heard, no? Vikram Betal. So that will be from 300 AD to roughly 500 AD. And then last will be Harshvardhan. Up to 640 AD. So these are the topics which we will cover in ancient India. Okay. You can. So we'll have a break now. 5 minutes. We'll drink water if you want to have tea, etc. You can have. Then we'll start the other areas and we'll write just the syllabus. Okay. Meanwhile, you can note down. Oops. Sorry, I did not see that. It's okay. Anyway, I'm writing here, so it's visible. So, that anger gets accumulated and resulted in a revolt of 1857. So, a revolt of 1857. Okay. After revolt of 1857, Britishers realized that there is some problem. Why people revolted? It means we were going wrong. So what Britishers decided, now we will not interfere too much in the society of India. We'll just rule. That's all. Okay. Then 1885, foundation of Congress. Right. Then 1905, partition of Bengal. When Bengal was about to be partitioned, people again became angry. So they will start a movement called as Swadeshi movement. 1905 to 7. The next topic we will see brother movement 1911. Then home rule movement 1916. And then Gandhiji comes from South Africa in India. Gandhiji 1915 onwards. In fact, 1917 onwards. He'll come to India in 1915, but Gopal Krishna Gokhale will tell him before straight away starting any movement, you just roam around India, visit India, and understand what people want. Then you jump into any movement. So next 1.5 years, he will be roaming around India. 1917 onwards, he will start the movement. Various type of movements are there, Champaran, etc. Okay. Gandhiji, up to independence, he will be there, 1948. Then 1921. I'm just writing the main topic. There will be subtopics under that, right? The rough guideline of the syllabus that we are going to cover. Non-cooperation, Khilafat, right? 1928 or 30s, youth, revolutionaries like Bhagat Singh, etc. Okay. Then 1930s, again, civil disobedience. Modern India, anyway, will do like a story. It will be very interesting. Okay. So civil disobedience movement. All these movements after Gandhiji came, all these movements were led by Gandhiji. He was the main leader there. Then 1930s civil disobedience movement. Then 1930s to 40s so many other thought process will come into Congress. Left thought process, socialist thought process. Okay, so left ideology, socialist ideology. And from this point onwards, 1937-38 onwards, concept of Pakistan also comes into picture. So mostly it will start from 1937 onwards. Before that, nobody was thinking about two nations. Okay. And in between, from 1909 to 1935, three acts comes into picture. One is Morlamento reforms. Another one is Government of India Act. Three important acts are there. Generally, UPSC asks question from these acts. Right? This is happening between 30s and 40s, and these two reforms from 1909 from 1940s up to 1947. So many events will happen. Small events. So discussion with Britishers, discussion with Britishers for self-rule. Okay. 1942, in this itself, Quit India movement will happen. India's army, India's navy, everybody will start raising their voice against Britishers. Finally, Britishers have to quit in 1947. Right? 1947. Britishers will quit. So this is the story. Just rough timeline I have given. Full detail we will start from the actual class when it will start. Today just orientation. So this is a roughly syllabus of ancient, medieval, and modern, and hopefully 12 to 15 questions comes in your prelims exam from this. So whenever we will cover any topic, along with the topic, we will see some questions also from previous year question papers, right? And we will solve that and we'll have practice. Okay, so let us stop it here today. That's more than sufficient. And then whenever they will tell, I think most probably next Monday onwards, the classes are going to start. So we'll start with arrival of Europeans. Modern India will start first, right? Thank you. Hope you understood, right?
Yeah.